Oh, happy Wildstorm Wednesday on a Thursday, my AKA Padders, my Wildstormers. Now look, we know about Wildstorm Wednesday. We know this is like my long-form study of not only Jim Lee, but everyone that he recruited, their careers, their threads, their legacies, especially the legacy of Jim Lee, which continues today. Many of those guys are also guilty of that. They're continuing today. And Wildstorm Wednesday was created out of my study of Chaos Comics. And my idea was to do something for Chaos every single week. Because it was just like, it occurred to me, I'm like, I was like, there's not, this isn't out there. And I feel like some of those Chaos books have to be discussed and focused on. And that transitioned right into Wildstorm Wednesday, because it blew my mind when I realized that I grew up in the Wildstorm era. And I ignored all the books while they were coming out, mostly focused on Rob Liefeld and Extreme Studios, and kind of followed Liefeld from Extreme Maximum to Awesome, I guess Arcade. Like there's 2-3 books from that venture. But yeah, and it's the idea that Wildstorm Wednesday is a long-form critical study. And we take the highs and the lows and we point out what's good and we point out what's bad. So along the way, what I had to do was I literally had 0 Wildstorm books, maybe 1 or 2 Jim Lee Hush collections, the black and white one. But I had to go out and buy like all Wildstorm. I had to start from 0 and build the lines up and build up those collections and track down miniseries and learn about their licensing. Which really blew my mind. The later licensing for Wildstorm is fascinating, because those books consistently are kind of better than what the superhero ones. But what I'm focused on though, it's the Wildstorm superhero universe. Like up until Fire from Heaven, I treat that crossover the same way how I treat the Onslaught crossover for Marvel or Flashpoint for DC. It's the literal end of an era, and it's okay just to cut things off at that point and say this is the story, these are the connected threads, this is where it was tight enough to be enjoyed, period. And along the way, like I've just noticed there are a couple more ideas and thoughts and commentating of Wildstorm has matriculated into the world of YouTube. Not so many articles, but mostly YouTube. And it's just like Wildstorm was crap. Now, yes and no. Same as Chaos Comics. Yes and no. Here on this channel, me, Peter A. DeLuca, aka Pad, the eclectic one, we focus on the highlights, we focus on the good, because it's easy to attack what's not good, and it's harder to understand why something doesn't work versus why it does work. So adulation's easy, being critical of why something is bad is more difficult. And we kind of go in and we steer that lane and we stay in the middle. Okay, we acknowledge the bad as much as we acknowledge the good. And we're not focused on just trashing Wildstorm, even though along the way we might have thumbnails and video headlines that or video titles that poke fun at some of it, okay? Because look, we're still talking about the 90s. This was the all or nothing era of comics. This was all go and no quit comics. Wildstorm became a absolute weapon when it was a publishing house, and their quality and what they could do on short deadlines. They could still crank out books, and this bid led into Jim Lee potentially getting purchased by Marvel, later becoming a purchase by DC, and that transition also infinitely fascinating. We would have to go into Heroes Reborn. That's the plain video. But what I wanted to do today, well, let me just show you. All right, so we go over here. This is my Wildstorm collection. Okay, we got multiple short boxes. This was an idea for one of the videos today, but here's the thing: we couldn't get an idea. I went through all of these. I couldn't get one idea other than doing WildStorm Universe. But we go over here, we go to one of my nooks, because, you know, in the living space, this is where I keep my comics. I like to hide them. Here is one Saturday's comic book haul, and it's basically split. It's one half WildStorm. So, with that said, with that presented, my little corner there, people, yeah, this is maybe a month overdue. We have another WildStorm haul, and yeah, I'm going to walk you through a lot of this. I like doing these because I like explaining a little bit of my methodology on what I'm selecting and why, and what holes within the WildStorm continuity that some of these are filling. And people, I got some zingers here. I did get some deals. Some of these I got for like next to nothing, and on, you know, some of the eBay pricing today is just, it's horrendous, some of these eBay dealers. But people, let's hit the table. Let's do another WildStorm haul. We're back at the drawing table. No joke, I just finished a live stream. We were working on my turtle soup Thursday. Yeah, I draw on cardboard piece of circles every single Thursday. Sometimes a couple times a week, but we're back in rhythm of doing these. This is, what's his name? Mountie Moose from 1992 Playmates Turtles line. Alright, so first up, yeah, so this is a little bit more of my further education to understand more about WildStorm, not just the comics. WildStorm as a company. There was a WildStormer, WildStorm Addicts, go look him up. I reached out to him when I was looking at this, because this cover, like, no joke, it blew my mind. I'm like, have you seen this before? Like, are you aware? And he goes, yeah, he tells me all about it. The dude is WildStorm Addict. I'll put his info, I'll link his info in this video. That dude is the absolute archivist, genius, super mind around everything WildStorm. Jim Lee should hire that guy permanently for like the WildStorm Museum. So that also parlayed into Cards Illustrated. We have a Jim Lee interview here. Nice Marat Michaels cover. And this was like maybe my big find for the day. This is like mint. This is beyond good condition. But what we have here is the Gen X ad. And look, this is an upcoming video. This is really the only video that I have in mind coming up, and I just wanted to put a little bit more time into just the ideas of what I want to present in this Gen X video. Had to do that. So let's get into the comics. Comics right here. Okay. This Backlash cover. I remember when this came out. I bought it at one time. This was like the only issue of Backlash I owned. It took me way too long to repurchase it, but I bought this cover at the time strictly on the merits of the straps, the gear, and just the overall cool factor. This cover alone blew my teenage mind. Backlash 19, Fire from Heaven. Gen 13, Los Portacio. Puzzle cover 5. I gotta do an inventory of how many of these I need. I believe there's 8 of them. Gen 13 Annual 1. Look, we know my thoughts on this. What happened to Gen 13? Really bad editorial direction here. This editorial direction killed Gen 13 forever. WildStorm 8, WildStorm 29, WildStorm 49. Team 7 Objective Held number 2. We got another puzzle cover, Wetworks. So this is a part of this stack is a thread I never thought I would find in the wild. I told my friend when we were rooting through dollar bins, I told my friend, we will never find, I call them veins, we'll never find a vein of late Wildcats. I've never seen them. We can't find them. We've been at this for a couple years. Well, guess what happened? So look, just so you guys know, I just repurchased the Wildcat number 1 Spartan variant card. Did not have Wildcats 9. Didn't have Wildcats 13. And here we go. Wildcats 32, 33, 35. Got 2 of 37 by accident. 38, 39, 40, 46, 47. This was critical. The Joe Mad cover. 48, 49. And finally, I'm reunited with 50. I remember Jim Lee was working on this cover. There's an issue of Wizard where Scott Williams is inking and he's penciling, like practically at the same time. Landmark milestone issue. Divine Right 10, Divine Right 12, Fantastic Four 10, Fantastic Four 12. This J. Scott Campbell cover, my friend found it. My friend picked it out. He brings it to me. He goes, do you want this? It's J. Scott. Because we also go into the alumni, a Wildstorm. People, this might be the absolute worst cover J. Scott Campbell has ever drawn from 1997. Alumni, here we go. Finally, we have a Alpha Flight Volume 2, Number 1 by the great, the fantastic Scott Clark. Steven Seagal, who was really the wordsmith and the idea guy for Wildstorm. Even those later issues of Wildcats I just showed you, Steven Seagal is really the writer, not Alan Moore. Outsiders 1 for Travis Charest. Alright, this set here was bought for $8. This was spiking on eBay. There's J. Scott Campbell alternate covers. I jumped on this as soon as I saw it. I did get it for 50% off, so I paid about $4 for it. This is an upcoming video for sure. I kind of want to reread it once or twice more. Look, when I do my reviews, whenever I talk to you guys about the guts of a comic, keep in mind I've read it more than once. This is the only way I feel like I'm truthful and I'm honest and I'm able to digest the information and just spew it out to you. This is so worth a video. Future Cop LAPD, boom, Wildstorm. We just had to get this. We got some Ron Lim action here. We got some of the muddy Wildstorm coloring that doesn't mix well with the paper quality. And here we go. The Big Kahuna. I got this for super cheap. Thundercats Dogs of War by Brett Booth. This is what I kind of call his dark period, where it's just not there when it comes to his draftsmanship. Just not quite there. We're going to read this. We're going to talk about this. Hammerhane's Revenge 1 through 5, $20. Got that for 50% off. And gearing up the finale. Finally reunited with Deathmate Tour Edition. This is a very tight edition, meaning the staples look good. You know, doesn't that just look beautiful? Yeah, just nice to feel. I mean, look, this era in comics is gone. I don't know if we'll ever have a tour edition for a comic book tour ever. It's meaningful. My friend got me these before we went out. Killer Instinct 3 gold embossed edition, got them for $10 each. I bought him lunch, gave him a little bonus for that. And to wrap it up, another tour edition, Killer Instinct. Like I said, we will never have a time in comics where we are literally doing tour editions from studios that just highlight the people within the studio, within the production. And we also have a story here too. This is Rival, and I forget if the character kept the name. And look, Weapon Zero later to go to Top Cow. People, this is huge. I guess like if it's Killer Instinct, it could be Top Cow, like Top Cow side, but not really, because look, Codename Strike for Black Anvil has the homage logo. Confusing. The overlap. Great addition. Again, very tight, not loose at all. And by loose, I just mean, you know, what's happening with the spine here. It just feels new in the hands. Hey, people, WildStorm Wednesday, I love you. Yeah, what a sign of the time. I mean, this Killer Instinct tour book absolutely blew my mind. Got it for $1. WTF. Look, even if I had to buy this on eBay for $5, $6, $7, $8, sometimes, people have it for up to 20 and it's fully signed. But just to get it here and wait for it, it's killer. But people, this is a sign of a time that we will never, ever get back within comics unless something that you can't predict happens down the road. Anyway, Peter A. DeLuca here. Subscribe, support, leave a comment. Come on, Wildstormers. Hey, what do you remember of Wildstorm? What do you remember? Like, what is Wildstorm to you? Let's hear it down below.